Welcome to our in-depth analysis of the French troop withdrawal from Ivory Coast, a significant event marking the end of a decades-long military presence in the West African nation. This development is part of a broader trend of former French colonies in Africa reassessing their military and political relationships with France. In this video, we'll explore the historical context of France's military involvement in Ivory Coast, the factors leading to the withdrawal, and the potential implications for both nations and the broader West African region. France's military presence in Ivory Coast dates back to the colonial era. After gaining independence in 1960, Ivory Coast maintained close ties with France, including defense agreements that allowed French troops to be stationed in the country. This relationship was part of the broader France-Afrique policy, through which France sought to maintain its influence in its former African colonies. In 2002, Ivory Coast experienced a civil war that divided the country between the rebel-held north and the government-controlled south. France intervened militarily through Operation Licorne, deploying troops to stabilize the situation and support United Nations peacekeeping efforts. The French military presence continued in various forms, including the establishment of a forward operating base in 2015 under a defense partnership between the two nations. In recent years, there has been a growing sentiment across West Africa advocating for greater sovereignty and a re-evaluation of military partnerships with former colonial powers. This shift is influenced by various factors, including the desire for self-reliance in security matters, dissatisfaction with the effectiveness of foreign military interventions, and the emergence of new international partners. In December 2024, Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara announced that French troops would begin withdrawing from Ivory Coast in January 2025. He cited the modernization of the Ivorian army as a key factor enabling this decision, stating, "We can be proud of our army, which has now been effectively modernized." This announcement aligns with similar decisions by other West African nations. For instance, Senegal, which had about 350 French troops, also announced plans for French forces to leave the country by the end of 2025. The withdrawal of French troops signifies a pivotal moment for Ivory Coast's national security and sovereignty. The Ivorian government has expressed confidence in its military's ability to maintain stability and address security challenges independently. This move reflects a broader trend of African nations seeking to assert greater control over their security affairs and reduce reliance on foreign military presence. However, this transition also presents challenges. The departure of French forces may create a security vacuum that could be exploited by extremist groups operating in the region. It will be crucial for the Ivorian military to effectively manage internal security and collaborate with regional partners to address transnational threats. For France, the withdrawal from Ivory Coast is part of a broader re-evaluation of its military presence in Africa. In recent years, France has faced increasing anti-French sentiment and calls for the reduction of its military footprint in the region. The French government has indicated a shift towards a new military strategy that reduces permanent troop deployments in favor of more flexible and temporary missions tailored to the specific needs of African partners. This strategic adjustment aims to address criticisms of neo-colonialism and adapt to the changing geopolitical landscape, where other global powers like Russia and China are expanding their influence. France's ability to maintain its influence in West Africa will depend on its capacity to build equitable partnerships that respect the sovereignty and aspirations of African nations. The withdrawal of French troops from Ivory Coast and other West African countries is reshaping the region's security landscape. As France reduces its military presence, there is potential for other international actors to fill the void. Notably, Russia's Wagner Group has been providing military assistance in the Sahel, and China has been making substantial investments in countries like Mali and Niger. These developments highlight the importance of regional cooperation among West African nations to address security challenges collectively. Organizations like the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, may play a more prominent role in coordinating security efforts and promoting stability in the region. The French troop withdrawal from Ivory Coast marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in Franco-Ivorian relations. It reflects a broader shift towards greater African autonomy and a re-evaluation of traditional partnerships. As Ivory Coast and other West African nations navigate this transition, the emphasis will be on building robust national institutions, fostering regional collaboration, and engaging with international partners on more equitable terms. Thank you for joining us in this comprehensive analysis of the French troop withdrawal from Ivory Coast. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on global events and their implications. Feel free to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this significant development.